Good morning. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And since we have such enormous guests, let's see. Mr. Velasquez, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
So, Mr. Chairman, before we adopt the agenda, could we have a couple of moments of silence? You see that Supervisor Millett is not here. His father-in-law passed away over the weekend, so he's going to be going out there, and I want to make sure that we pass on our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to the Millett family, especially Joan with the passing of her father, and Jake. And the other is Albert Kramer, who at one time was a supervisor. He was also a mayor and an alderman, passed away last week. So if we could, we want to send our condolences, prayers, and thoughts to the Kramer family as well. So if we could have a moment of silence for both, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
So we'll observe a moment of silence then.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Reese. Okay. Item B, adoption of the agenda. Madam Manager.
Good morning. There are no changes to the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I will go ahead and move that we adopt the agenda as posted and presented and allow Chair to deviate as necessary.
Okay, and I will second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item C, call to the public. And Mary, since you're all the way in the back of the room, we'll start with you. See, I knew you were going to show us that big thing when you were walking in this morning.
I'm glad it's big enough because I don't know with my glasses. So.
You were telling me no.
Special designation, a special program through the National Park Service, and this board supported the early efforts to get that designation way back in 2005 when it occurred a presentation by the Crossing National Heritage Area and then helped fund publication of the feasibility study, which eventually became the seminal document and part of the creation of the National Heritage Area in 2019. We have undertaken some early projects. Some of you may have seen the mural that was painted downtown on the bank building facing south, one of the very earliest projects of the entire Heritage Area, which, by the way, Oro Valley down to the border, and then mountaintop to mountaintop, so the whole river valley, but one of the earliest projects here in Santa Cruz County. And we've undertaken another project, which is to develop these exhibits, which are very colorful and informative, hoping to pique the interest of people in the heritage area and get involved. Our goal is to establish partnerships with all the organizations within our area that celebrate the uniqueness of our area, the cultural, historic, and natural heritage of our area. And so if any of you are members of organizations, and some of the organizations have already formally partnered with the National Heritage Area, reach out to me. You can find me, I'm sure, and let's establish a partnership. because we've got great things planned and great things moving forward. So our exhibits, we've presented to the city of Nogales last week. It's in their city hall, we hope. Patagonia has an exhibit. We've got exhibits up north as well, but also Pimeria Alta, Tubac Historical Society. We've got 3 for the county. One is already at the airport and hung. We want to get one hung in the North County facility in Tubac, and then this for this building. And basically, we want to highlight the 10 themes of our heritage area, which are here, and you guys can all read this at your leisure as you're walking around the building. And then we've got a, what do we call that, a QR code or whatever at the bottom where we take you to our
Okay,
website. So, here you go.
thank you.
We can get it put up, maybe I'll take it around and see if I can find Tracy or something, but thank you all, and thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you. That was the longest second I've ever seen. Sometimes you need that in basketball. Mr. Balderas. This is Juan Balderas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just coming back to you and updating you on the 2 projects that we have going over at the Sheriff's Office.
Can you tell
that we-
everybody who you are?
Oh, sorry, Juan Valderas, CIO for the county. Do I need to give my address too? No? Okay. So coming back, the study session that we had 2 weeks ago, where we presented some of the items. And so we have the agreement with APEC. We have vetted that. We have done some due diligence on that. It is under state contract. So at this point, we have moved it over to Kim. Kim has it, so she's reviewing it and making sure everything's lines up with that. And then on our other project, unfortunately, we're still waiting for Motorola to get their engineering done. That is a lengthy process. We have been helping them on our infrastructure side, but they're the experts on the RF side, so they've been kind of updating that. And then Mauricio, do you have anything to add?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mauricio Chavez, Finance Director for the county. No, I think Mr. Valderas captured everything. I think we're just waiting on the county attorney's office to approve one of the contracts, and then for the Motorola aspect, we're waiting on the vendor to move forward so we can have a follow-up meeting so we can determine the revised quote and then move from there and look at the financing options that they're offering for us and then grant opportunities as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is going to be Irene Ellersick. Ellersick.
It's German, so don't be pronounce it the way it's spelled exactly. My name is Irene Ellersek, and I live in Rio Rico, and I've heard rumors that the police or the sheriff's department does not have an alternate for radio service throughout the county, and so is that true? Did I mention that right?
So a call to the public, we cannot address the
Oh, okay.
question.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
we can-
Okay, and so I'm here because
The county manager can answer that question for you after the meeting.
okay, and so I have concern about that because if you're just down to one radio system then I think maybe they need assistance so that you can protect your citizens in Rio Rico. And that's very important to me because I'm drifting to older and older, and I certainly need the service so that I would be able to protect myself, especially in the environment that we live in right now, because I'm not saying here in Santa Cruz, but throughout the United States, and so I'm concerned about that. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you for coming in. The next slip is Dan. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board and staff. My name is Dan Dellingis, and I live in Tubac. Been here 2 years, and a couple of things have come to my attention. One, of course, was the radio system with Santa Cruz Sheriff's County. And hopefully, it sounds like that's being worked on. And so, very good, thank you, kudos. It's really necessary. I'm retired law enforcement 30 years and worked alone. That radio system needs to be there and updated. The second thing I have is regarding the Santa Cruz River crossing at Chavez Siding. We've had a lot of problems the last couple of years. I know we've had more rain than usual, but when it's dry, it's not getting fixed. And it needs to be either fixed, you know, or something temporarily, or something has to be done with regards to a bridge if necessary. However, I am an environmentalist, and I do know that it is much better to drive over a river than it is to drive through it. So I'd like the county to start addressing this issue because we've just had another resident move in up there. And they're still on Chavez Siding Road, and that road extends past where the county's maintaining. So there's changes coming, there's always change. And I hope you'll look into this issue. It's important to me. I've done a lot of river rescues, and that's just an accident waiting to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next person is Jesus Jerez.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jesus Jerez. I'm a resident of Santa Cruz County since December of 1976. I worked on the border. I also had to find a way to relieve stress, and the way I did it was I joined the Rio Rico Fire Department as an EMT firefighter, and I served there for just under 2 decades. Total service was 38 years. In the fire service, I realized how important radio service was, and I can tell you that Santa Cruz County has a whole bunch of dead spots that we had to work around, and we knew when we were going to a certain call to a certain place, somebody had to kind of run back to the top of the hill to be able to communicate with. Knowing that, and I was concerned about the sheriff's radio system, knowing that it was knocked out and down to one channel. I'm gratified, pleased to see that you are already on the subject. You're already working to fix it, and for that I thank you. But one thing that we do, I don't agree with Sheriff Hathaway's politics, but the men and women serving in the uniform really need communications. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else in the room that'd like to address the board? Okay, is there anybody online that would like to address the board? If they could raise their hand, or if they're on the phone, hit, I think it's *9. Okay, seeing nobody coming up to the podium, we'll go back to item D, which is current events. Supervisor Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank the public for being here today and addressing your concerns. I know we can't legally respond to the call to the public, but we're listening. Did have the opportunity to host the Chamber Government Affairs meeting. We had the Mexican consulate, or the American consulate, come and speak to us, Laura Bierbach. And so she told me that on December 12th of this year, Mexico and the United States are going to be celebrating 200 years of working together as countries diplomatically. And so I did ask her to send me some information so we can have a proclamation acknowledging the 200 years of friendship, not just of governments, but of all the things that we do as families, as trading partners. It's a very important relationship that we've established over 200 years. So it was good to hear. So that's the only thing I have to report this morning, Mr. Chairman. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. This last week, on the 14th and 15th, I attended the Rural Transportation Summit. The first day was mostly ADOT talking about the bill, which is the bipartisan infrastructure legislation that was passed and all the multi-millions of dollars. that was being rolled out. It was very interesting to see how counties can work and cities can work with ADOT on using this funding. And so it was really the straight transportation. The second day was mostly, there were a lot of speakers, but we had the state legislatures coming in and talking to us about what they thought was going to be happening with transportation in this next session. But seeing that we still have one more round of this local elections to come up, they're not 100% sure what the makeup of the legislature is going to be. So we're all just watching that, and then we'll start working on it. So it's the Rural Transportation Summit. It's something that's held every year. We had the county fair in Santa Cruz County this past weekend. So I'd like to thank the county school superintendent for supporting that and getting all the kids' projects out there. And also I'd like to thank the rodeo, the Sonoria Rodeo and Fairgrounds, because they are a nonprofit. They are not owned or operated by the county, but they are a local nonprofit, and they host that every year. So shout out to them for doing that community service. And then on a closing note, the Nogales Wash has had pretty strong smell coming out of it this past weekend. On Saturday night, I got in touch with IBWC. They went out Sunday morning and chlorinated, but also through the Port Authority and the Arizona-Mexico Commission, this instance was raised with the state of Sonora, and also because we raised it with IBWC. The two states are getting together and talking about what's going on in Mexico and why this is happening again. So thanks, shout out to Port Authority and their contacts with Arizona-Mexico Commission. But the county is aware of it, and we are working on it. And that is everything that I have. Madam Manager.
Good morning again. I attended the broadband focus group out in Patagonia with Juan. We have still to do the focus groups in Nogales and Sonoita, and then we will complete our round of Santa Cruz County. I also attended a quarterly Arizona County's insurance pool meeting and hosted the monthly county managers meeting. We continue the planning of the annual CSA Summit, which Santa Cruz County and Pima are co-hosting this year. And this summit sets our legislative priorities for the next state budget cycle. I also did an ARPA check-in on our nonprofits and our small business loans, along with Angie Donaldson presents that to Mauricio Jesus and I. And I attended a quarterly health insurance meeting. And we also hosted small counties last week. And after that, I attended the CSA executive meeting and the board of directors meeting. And that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. And we will move to item E, department reports and activities. Mauricio.
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The cash and investment report, the general fund has an overall balance of $15,472,839 with an investment amount of $10,346,000. The road fund has an overall balance of $819,360 with an investment amount of $7,000. The flood control district has an overall balance of $309,266 with an investment amount of $265,711. The jail district fund has an overall balance of $2,729,616 with an investment amount of just a little bit over $1 million. Total for all funds, overall balance $39,657,642 with an investment amount of $13,451,732 for an estimated end of the month balance of $12,186,367.
Okay. Are there any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, Mauricio, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Workforce development update.
Good morning, Chairman Bracker and members of the board. Santa Cruz County Workforce Development Department has gone through quite a few changes in the last 2 months, lost 2 great employees to better opportunities, and are currently very short-staffed. We are currently in the process of hiring 2 new workforce development specialists and, with your approval today, a program manager. Traffic in our office has gone up significantly due to the end of produce season in mid-June. We are currently averaging around 1,094 clients monthly, an average of 274 clients a week, but we'll see a drastic drop in the next few weeks once the produce season starts back up. Due to the number of people visiting our center, we did have to close down our resource room due to the majority of office staff being out sick with COVID. In order to keep those working safe, we closed down the office for a week, allowing clients only to drop off UI claims or paperwork and/or would see them on an appointment basis. Since then, we've been limiting a total of 5 people in our resource room at a time in an hourly time frame. We're hoping once the produce season starts, we can resume allowing people to come in as needed and always taking the necessary precautions to keep our staff safe. Our staff outreach activities continue to happen. Because we are short-staffed, it's been mostly to community agency events and job fairs that we are invited to. We continue to see a growing interest in training opportunities because of these outreach events. AMMA Investment Group, LLC from Amado, Arizona, has reached out to let us know of their massive layoff in their Amado facility. I have been in communication with Maureen Watkins and am in the process of working out a rapid response coordination together with the help of Pima County One Stop. Because WIOA funding cannot be used to help out a medical marijuana company, we will be assisting only those affected by the layoff and offer our services to those interested in them. Our current in-school youth program resumes, and all our participants have been placed in community agencies where they are allowed to work 19 hours per pay period. Our work experience is a planned, structured learning experience in a workplace for a limited period of time that provides participants with opportunities for skill development that include academic and occupational education. We work to continue diligently to bring in more out-of-school youth. We have reached out to local JTED programs and will be meeting soon to see how we can collaborate and work together to get more participants enrolled in to benefit both programs. I am happy to announce that within the last few weeks, we have managed to enroll 6 new participants into the Pima Community College IT Specialist Certification Program under our H-1B grant and are hoping to get more interest for the spring semester. I'm excited to announce that the 5 participants enrolled in the Rio Rico Fire Academy have successfully completed their EMT fire science certifications and are now fully certified. All the 5 participants have been placed to work within the Rio Rico Fire District. Both Rio Rico Fire District and Arizona at Work will be meeting in the next few weeks for the planning of their next academy. Santa Cruz County Workforce Development is currently in the process of submitting our Workforce Development Local Plan Modification, which is due at the end of this month. The plan has been approved by both our local Workforce Development Board and Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors. Once submitted, our State Workforce Arizona Council Board will review it for final approval. Copies of the final plan will be available at our One Stop Center, Santa Cruz County website, and the State Arizona at Work website. We are also in the process of modifying our IFA with our partners. The IFA is being updated to reflect the budgetary expenses that all 4 partners are incurring while being housed in our One Stop Center. This includes updating building expenses and the new pay raise for our office receptionist. I'm hoping to have this completed by the end of the month. We continue to attend various partner meetings collaborating at state and local levels in an attempt to identify specific needs and/or skills that employers are seeking with ultimate vision of strengthening our local workforce. With this, I end my report by thanking everyone who has given me the opportunity to take over as Santa Cruz County new Workforce Development Director. Born and raised in Nogales and actually being one of the program's participants when JTPA was in place has given me the opportunity within the last couple of years to grow and love what I do. I see the potential our program has and the opportunities it can give many Santa Cruz County residents. My goal is to get this program well known for people to take advantage of what this program offers and help make It happened by giving people the opportunity to grow and get into better careers. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, and you said that you can't help the medical marijuana. Is that because it's a federal law that says that, or it's a state law?
It's a federal law. We can't use WIA funding for anything with medical marijuana.
So
But
even to help the employees find new work,
We can do that if we do it separately. We won't
you
be.
just can't go on site.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Workforce development update.
We already did what.
That was that. Oops, I forgot to scratch it off. You want to come back and read that again? My apologies. Community development update. Now Frank's walking up. Good morning, Frank.
Morning. I thought I was in the twilight zone there, Mr. Chair. Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board, county staff, members of the public.
Morning.
So I'll start with permit activity. So we continue to see a lot of permit activity. We've been seeing an influx since 2020. We have collected since August of 21 to 22. We've collected a total of $1,289,137.92, which is quite a bit up since before the pandemic and basically the housing and building boom. That's an average of 71 permits per month and a monthly average revenue of $107,428.16. So it's roughly anywhere between 2 and 3 times the amount, closer to 3 times the amount that we were seeing before the boom. So, and numbers are still kind of higher there. So we have yet to see a slowdown. As far as other activities in community development go, I'll just give you all kind of an update on some of the grant funding opportunities that we've had here recently, and as well as some additional funding. So first, I'll talk about the USDA Rural Development Digital Jobs Grant, which has been completed. The grant was for $60,500, and it created supports for small businesses and outreach/media strategies to leverage that of the county's $1 million ARPA Small Business Forgivable Loan Program. The 3 main kind of goals for it were number 1 were digital internships created for 31 students serving 14 organizations. Superintendent of Schools Office created internships that are now scaling more widely throughout a $5.8 million federal education grant through their office received in May. Second thing is a public benefit corporation, Local Light, developed a digital app available on the Apple App Store that features more than 400 independently owned small businesses along the I-19 corridor. Local Light has began and will continue to provide the county with data sets about spending patterns for economic development, planning, and small business supports. And then the county, the county and contractors collaborated to develop an email list of 400 plus nonprofits, artists, and small businesses for business outreach. Prior to that, the county had no contact information for its small business community since it does not administer business licenses. So this is really incredible data for the county to have and aggregate. The second thing that we're working on related to economic development is the Santa Cruz County Arizona Prosperity Vision and Action Plan RFP. So as you all are aware, the board approved that at the last meeting, and since then it's been issued. Hope to award contract before Christmas. This will create and promote sustainable strategic economic growth in Santa Cruz County over the next 5 years. And it includes a 5-year strategic plan and a 3-year implementation action plan. We'll focus on ways to grow Santa Cruz County's real estate and sales tax base, retain business and grow local jobs, grow the workforce, and strategically grow targeted business sectors, especially ones mitigating impacts of climate change, furthering equity, promoting automation/logistics, innovation in current industry sectors, and promoting nature-based economic opportunities. Lastly, the action plan will outline the immediate actions necessary with timelines and partners to implement and fund the strategic vision in ways that can be tracked, measured, and evaluated. So the third thing I'll talk about is the workforce housing strategy forum. So it's in process of developing a countywide affordable housing strategy with a consultant awarded through the National Association for Latino Community Asset Builders. We received one of about 10 national awards. So we're lucky in that way. We have this technical assistance grant. Our award pays for consulting time. And the Affordable Housing Forum planned for is either planned for November 14th or 16th. We've yet to dates to be determined to discuss potential affordable housing and implementation strategies, gather community feedback, and host USDA Rural Development and Arizona Department of Housing directors to identify funding strategies. So that's been really fun. We've been working with a lady named Jeannie Shaw, who's the consultant that's been helping us out, and so we're looking forward to that. And then I've also been talking to the Association of Realtors here, and ultimately we'll give them a presentation as well once we have a little bit more information and invite them to the forum. The next thing I'll talk about is the $300,000 EDA grant awarded for regional cuisine tourism. Santa Cruz County received an Economic Development Administration Travel, Tourism, and Outdoor Recreation grant to create a regional cuisine tourism strategy and implementation plan to recapture travel and tourism jobs lost during the pandemic. Regional cuisine tourism defined is leveraging leisure-related activities that are a natural fit with making a regional wine presence more impactful and leveraging increased tourism spending and overnight visitation. So basically that breaks down into 4 parts. Number 1 is the market study to assess the economic potential of cuisine tourism as a regional strategy to rebuild lost tourism employment. 2, a business plan to create sustainable jobs in cuisine tourism. 3, a specific land use plan / overlay district for Sonoyta, Elgin, the wine country region of the county that would remove regulatory barriers for wineries and food entrepreneurship. And 4, a strategic implementation / financing plan to execute the findings. After the plan is developed, we will pursue funding to implement new employment opportunities for food entrepreneurs and link those offerings to wineries and allied cuisine tourism sectors and jobs. And this builds upon the $280,000 in ARPA funding for food and arts entrepreneurship for Morley Avenue. So the idea is looking for synergy, for lack of better terms. We got this funding to focus on a particular area like in the Eastern County, but then how do we tie that to opportunities, things like remote vendors and kitchens and things like that in other parts of the county as well. So we've got a lot of economic development initiatives on the horizon, which are really exciting. And that grant was awarded through the EDA. It is yet to get in front of the board, but just wanted to notify you of what the grant is and that we were fortunate enough to receive it, and it'll be on a future board agenda. So last but not least, we continue to work on the Rio Rico Vitality District, which is an overlay district in Rio Rico in the Circular Mercado area to look for economic development and land use opportunities there. That's moving on quite well. We're just finalizing the conceptual plan there, and the final report. We'll do another public meeting to kind of go over basically the final plan. We were fortunate enough along the planning process to have 2 public meetings that were really well engaged, and we got a lot of incredible feedback. So this product will be the result of those public meetings, and we're really looking forward to it. And hopefully we can kind of jumpstart some economic development and diversification there. And then lastly, Supervisor Becker recently appointed folks back to the Tubac Historic Zone Advisory Board, which is exciting as we continue to work on the preservation of the cultural resources in Tubac and other parts of the county. I've been working closely with Nancy Valentine Hollub in Tubac, and she's been outstanding in really all of her efforts to try and revitalize that group and revitalize historic preservation efforts in Tubac. So really appreciate her community stewardship to protect and preserve our natural, historic, and cultural resources. So that about concludes it.
Okay, and then we also have one more project in Tubac, the entrance project that we're waiting for approval on a
Certainly.
purchase agreement from ADOT.
That's correct. That's correct. I've been working with, and I'm not sure if that's part of Mr. Valdez's update, but we've been working together to secure a piece of property there at the entrance of Tubac for a pocket park that will essentially give a facelift to the entrance and a new, for lack of a better term, basically just a new entry sequence to the area, which will be good for tourism and basically just creating a sense of place, which is really important when we talk about land use and the way we experience different parts of our county.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Just some comments, and you know, it's very gratifying to see what our departments are doing, and you know, we usually don't get these many type of reports, but as you can see that we're trying to do everything we can to make this county a better place for people to work, play, and live. A couple of things is, number one is I'm pushing the notion of the innovation corridor, I-19, which is kind of, you mentioned innovation, so when we look to create housing affordability or workforce or bringing in opportunities for training, I'd love to see that the innovation corridor kind of be used, because that corridor is very important, not just to this county, but to the state and the nation. There's a lot of things that go through there. The grants that you're getting are great. I think, hopefully, and this is my personal opinion, is when the new mayor and council get there, we have the opportunities to have meaningful joint meetings together, because I think there's a lot of opportunities downtown Morley that even though it's the city of Nogales, it's their responsibility, they're still part of our county. And some of the things that Public Works is doing to reduce the floodplain map down there to allow for investment, I think is something that we need to continue to move and push forward. And finally, I would say, instead of saying affordable housing, I would like to see housing affordability. Because sometimes when you tell people we're going to have affordable housing, they kind of look, well, I don't know, but if we can have housing affordability where people can afford to have their homes, it's not a negative connotation. So I think we need to find better ways to do that. But Frank, thank you for an outstanding report. I mean, I'm just so happy that these things are going on in this county, and look forward to more reports and more successes. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisors. Appreciate that.
Again, thanks a lot for all your efforts on this, and then everybody who's been collaborating with you. I know you're not the only person who's been spearheading this thing.
I've been fortunate enough to be able to partner with other county departments and things like that as well. And as I mentioned in that first USDA grant, we really were able to work closely with the school superintendent's office, and we continue to try and forge deeper relationships. And like I said, that's the only way to really create this collaboration, is the only way to really create like a groundswell in the community. So we're really looking forward to that. So thank you very much.
But that is quite a list of projects that you have going, so thank you for everything, and all the department heads for what they're doing. And we're going to bring up one more department, Public Works. Mr. Valdez, good morning.
Good morning, Jesus.
Supervisor Reese, good morning. Uh, So this is the first report that Public Works done for a while. It's going to focus more on the communication between the county and South 32. In the future, I'll reach out to you guys before the reports due and see if there's any other topics that you guys want to discuss. Feel free to stop me anytime if you guys have any questions. You should have a copy of the memorandum that was submitted as part of this agenda. Couple of updates from South 32. Hatch Consulting has been hired by South 32 to evaluate possible sites for integrated remote operating center. They call it the IROC for short. That's the acronym. So all their operations, as we understand it, are going to be done remotely. And they hired this consultant to look at possible venues where this building could be at. So we'll have a update in the future as that information trickles down. The other update that I have regarding South 32 is they will be hosting an open house on September 22nd. This is this Thursday, from 4 to 6 in Nogales at the Santa Cruz County Historical 1904 Courthouse. Okay. So we have quite a few agreements with South 32. We're going to go over some of the status of them, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. We have a professional service agreement with them. At this time, Santa Cruz County will request assistance for the following service to support county staff: a resource consultant, Board of Supervisors liaison, economic development consultant. Some of that stuff that I think Frank talked about earlier regarding the SO RFQ for an economic development. Santa Cruz County will request assistance for following studies: Harshaw Road Trail inventory and safety evaluation. We know that on Harshaw Road, there's a lot of biking that's done, and with the heavy traffic that we're experiencing right now because of the development of the mine, we want to ask South 32 to look at a possible project or study to look at where the deficiencies are in the conflict points, so we can start addressing them and develop a plan. Other studies that we'd like to ask South 32 to help us with: strategies to maximize future tax revenues. Not sure if I know any more of that, but I know that there's going to be some revenues coming into the county, and we want to see how we can maximize that. And then something more up Public Works alley: county-wide transportation forecast model. See where some of the traffic that comes into the county, how it affects our network system, road network system. Before moving on, those are the things that right now, tentatively, we're going to request South 32 to help us with. We could discuss that further. The other agreement we have with them is Harshaw Road maintenance. So we agreed to maintain Harshaw Road if South 32 paid for the contractor to maintain it. So far, we've issued 3 work orders. We used our JOC. We have 5 qualified contractors on our JOC, and each had a chance to bid on it. We're doing it on a quarterly basis. The first purchase agreement went to Ashton, with Innova coming in second. The second was Innova was successful, and Ashton came second. The third one is Innova. They got the purchase order, and K&G came in second. So we're hoping to bid those services out in the next couple of weeks. Moving on to the 9001 crossing improvement. That's a contract with South 32 to reconstruct the damaged bridge. It's known as the 9001. It's on Harshaw Road. Just an update that I received from them: the construction project has been bid, with proposed design changes still in the process. Construction is scheduled to initiate sometime in November, December, if they're able to get all the changes necessary in the necessary right-of-way. Design changes will eliminate the need of 70 feet of adjacent land for right-of-way, will be negotiated and they will negotiate for a temporary construction easement. The Core 404 permits is in process by them. They should receive it within the next 30 days. We'll use the right-of-way permit that Public Works has for the construction and construction oversight.
Hey, Suze, can I ask you a question on that? We met last week with the adjacent property owners, and the new configuration that South 32 is proposing does not work for how they've been actually using the bridge right now. Is there an update on that?
Mr. Chair, yeah, I reached out to their engineers and let them know that some of the concerns is that their livestock doesn't like to go through a 70-foot tunnel, so they're looking at shortening that width to somewhere between 50 to 40 feet. In addition, also the height right now it's currently about 9 feet with the current bridge configuration, and we communicated that we'd like the box culvert to be at somewhere near that height. They're working on it, and we'll have some information if they can make it possible.
Thank you for addressing those.
Moving on, the park land agreement. So the Board of Supervisors signed the agreement on April 13th, 2022. South 32 is resolving some exceptions identified by Santa Cruz County. What's needed for this agreement or this land donation to go forward is a finalized title report is needed to complete the survey, and then the process could move forward.
So South 32 has not completed the Cross Creek Connector agreement at this time?
Correct. There's some, they haven't submitted to the county a complete title report.
Okay.
Moving on, so part of the park land donation was also to do a master plan for the planned park. South 32 has contracted the planning center to develop concepts for the park. SCC is awaiting a kickoff meeting with the consultant. The Cross Creek Connector, so the park donation is one, the Cross Creek Connector is the actual easement where they secured an easement through the agreement for a road. So we're calling the Cross Creek Connector. South 32 is currently working on a design to submit to the county.
Would you recommend a study session at this point? We've signed this original agreement April 13th, and to get more detail and for us to be able to have more.
I will put it on the agenda for a study session.
I think it's important that, and it also gives all of us much more opportunity to kind of discuss what's going on and the public to be aware of what's going on and move it forward. So I would agree with that if you can.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Reese, I'd be glad to do that. Thank you.
And I guess the subject of the study session would be, the relations with, the Cross Creek Connector and that, but also some of all the other agreements that we've signed with South 32 and the status of those.
No problem.
Thank you.
Part of the land donation agreement, there was structures that came with the land. So we did an inspection of the structure. So the inspection indicated that there's some asbestos and some lead paint in small quantities. They will be to be abated before or during demolition. Last item is workforce development and housing. The county communicated that workforce development and workforce housing are high priority programs for the county. So, see if I can understand my own handwriting. This has led to develop a strategy that focuses on workforce development and technical and vocational education for our schools and our districts. The impetus for this strategy is the development of South 32 mine. South 32 operations will be conducted remotely and require a trained workforce. The benefits of locating a facility in Santa Cruz County are exponential. They will create jobs and diversify the county's economy. In addition, having South 32 operations in the county will bring ancillary industries that will create more jobs and further diversify our economy. So we're working on a plan. Mr. Supervisor Reese, you mentioned earlier about the I-19 corridor and how, innovation corridor and how we could, this is the start of it, where we want to concentrate on the educational portion of it, where we create opportunities for our workforce to get trained through a campus. There's still a lot of work to be done, and many big players. WIOA is going to be a big part of that. Our provisional college is going to play a role in that, and also the school districts. So the idea is to, just to piggyback on what you said, Supervisor Reese, is to have the I-19 corridor with that educational hub in there to support the industries, and also to support the IROC. And that's the plan that we're moving forward as of now.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, and
Yes, sir.
as I say, I think it's important, and all along, I want to make sure that whatever asset is taken out of Santa Cruz County, that they invest in Santa Cruz County and not take it to Tucson or take it anywhere else. And this IROC center that they want to build, I know that we had a presentation on internet service and Cox wanting to come down I-19 down all the way to Tubac and into Rio Rico, because you're going to need a good internet service to do what they're going to do if everything's going to be mined from that center. And we want to make sure that the campus is next to wherever that center is put up, so we can train the workers to operate from here. And so, you guys, Jesus, Frank, all involved, are really doing a great job. I know that there are other landowners that I will not mention here, but I think we as a community are on the right track, and that's what we want. We want that innovation to be set up here. If we set up that center and that school here, so that we can attract people from outside the county as well to train for other opportunities, and we want to move forward. So I look forward to our study session, and maybe we can bring a little bit more on that and where we're at, and how we can begin to just push some of these things forward, because many of the things that will get started here today, probably my colleague and I won't be able to see it finished, or maybe we will, but we want to make sure that we leave all the seeds planted and everything watered correctly, so that it can move forward and give those opportunities to our residents. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And so everybody knows that mining is a disruptive industry. They add a lot of traffic. They add a lot of things that are disruptive for life. But they balance that off with a financial incentive. We just, as a county, want to make sure that we maximize that financial gain in our community, which means the employees that are running the remote operating center, which they call the IROC, are in Santa Cruz County, that their headquarters for this for this mine are in Santa Cruz County. And so so their vendors have offices in Santa Cruz County, so they're employing people from our community. These are the benefits that we can derive from this economically, and so we're just trying to work on everything that we can to make that happen. So Jesus, thanks for your work on that.
You're welcome. The last update that I have for you guys is that South 32 wants to be a good partner with the community. So they want a study session sometime in the near future to go over options when it comes to how they contribute to our operations. They know that, that our revenues are, well, they just want to be a good partner and want to see how they could assist the community with some contributions. And they want to do a study session on the options and let you guys just, be more informed. And from there, we could, come up with a plan to make that happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Supervisor Reese, any other questions?
No, thank you, Jesus.
Okay, Jesus, thank you very much for your report. All right, we will move into item G.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we recess our regular session and convene into the jail district.
I will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So in the jail district, item 1, discussion possible action to authorize to fill 3 vacant booking clerk positions. Madam Manager, these are all, I guess I need a motion.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and move that we approve.
And I will second. And under discussion, Madam Manager, these are all in the budget?
That's correct.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we adjourn our jail district and reconvene regular meeting.
And I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Action item 1, discussion possible action for authorization to fill a vacant lieutenant commander position, a vacant sergeant position, 2 vacant deputy sheriff's position, 1 positions, 2 vacant deputy safety telecommunicator positions, a vacant ESSER 3 secretary position, a vacant Title I WIOA program manager, and a vacant juvenile probation officer position.
So, Mr. Chairman, move to approve.
And I will second. Any other discussion?
Just quickly, I know that we went round and round with the last sheriff on the lieutenant position. This is not a new lieutenant position, but it's creating just a commander, right?
That's correct. It's a vacancy that was
Created,
from our
retirement.
yes, from our retirement.
Great, thank you. That's all I needed.
Okay, is there any other discussion? These are all, I have a question. These are all budgeted positions?
That is correct.
That's my favorite question. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 2, discussion possible action to reclassify lead C. Creo success coach position to coaching coordinator in the school superintendent's office.
Move to approve.
And I will second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 3, discussion, possible action to reclassify and fill vacant deputy county attorney 5 position to bureau chief in county attorney's office.
Move to approve.
And I will second. Is there any discussion?
Jennifer, and can you just briefly go over it, please?
Yes, sir. So the request, and the honorable county attorney's here as well if he'd like to jump in, but the request is to reclassify a vacant deputy county attorney 5 position to our bureau chief. Those do have some salary implications. I did the maximum difference in pay if we hired somebody at entry level for a 5 versus if we hired somebody at the at 6% above entry level. So that financial implication annually is $10,406. Currently, the county attorney has 2 vacancies, a deputy county attorney 1 and a deputy county attorney 5. Those have resulted in over $25,000 of savings in just this fiscal year, so since July 1st. So again, worst case scenario, the financial savings to the general fund is already double what we need if the maximum amount were to be paid to the bureau chief. And then with that, I'll just let the county attorney add anything he might like to add.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to do here, I know that there's been some speculation that I'm reclassifying a position so that I can raise somebody's salary within my office, and that's far from the truth. What I'm doing is trying to get a competitive edge. We've had a great deal of difficulty filling our attorney positions. I'm trying to fill civil positions as well, and those are even more difficult than the prosecutor positions. I think by reclassifying and making it a bureau chief for our civil division, the title will attract quality, good people to apply, and certainly the pay as well. It'll just give us that little competitive edge that we've needed for quite some time. I know Kim has advertised left and right. We've received a lot of good feedback from our actual advertisements, and because we talk, or Kim talks about the drive, the beautiful drive, because we expect people to be from Tucson, or applicants to be from Tucson, so we capitalize on the drive through two back, how beautiful it looks when it's green. The traffic, the minimal traffic. I mean, we're doing as much as we possibly can to keep us afloat, and that's why I'm asking for the reclassification.
Okay. Any other discussion? Do you have any other questions?
Just a comment, and I mean, it's evident that we can't find lawyers, and then we're competing against the Pima counties and the Maricopa counties and the Attorney General's office, and it makes it very hard. And perhaps here's a chance to you, George, that we try to find a grant and create a Futures Lawyers Club in our school districts and allow them to begin to look at, maybe if they're interested, as we can find scholarships for them, with the caveat that for the next 5 years after graduation, they have to work in Santa Cruz County. I mean, you know, we did programs with the school district where they came down, and most of the people that went are still teaching here, so it's just something to look at. And I know when I was up at the schools law conference, I was out there looking for lawyers too. Kim says, you know, send them out, and you know, I did talk to a young man from the Attorney General's office whose parents have a business down here, and I also talked to the legal counsel for the School Boards Association, and he sent me a little note the other day. I said, if you know anyone, I said, we're hiring, send them down this way. So, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and I know when Jennifer and I spoke, you said we're offsetting, and really doesn't look like there's too many people knocking at the door, so maybe those savings will continue to add, but hopefully, yeah, we will be able to at least fill that position and give you some leeway with the help that you need. So.
And Supervisor Reese, that's a great idea for a grant to kind of build or grow our own attorneys. And you know, we've brought in 2 young attorneys, actually still in law school. We brought them in, gave them internships, kind of, you know, watched them every step of their law career, and eventually became attorneys in our office. One, when he left our office, was making $70,000 and is now making over $100,000. The other we had in our office for 6 months, passed the bar, we got him certified. He was in court working, and he was offered $85,000 in Tucson in the private sector, and he was making $59,000 here, so he decided to leave us. You know, we're trying and being as innovative as we can to attract people to these positions. And you know, at the end of the day, the people that we get and they start working here, they really appreciate the environment that we create, the discretion that we give them to really grow as attorneys.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And no further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 4, discussion possible action to approve FFY 2023 Governor's Office of Highway Safety Award Agreement. And they are A through C.
Move to approve.
And the second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 5, discussion possible action to improve intergovernmental agreements with Mixcoyote Academy for our youth project from August 22nd, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 for a maximum of $6,300, and Yapapai School Superintendent Office to continue E-rate services from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023 in the amount of $1,500.
Move to approve.
And second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 6, discussion possible action to approve contract with Boys and Girls Clubs of Santa Cruz County for our youth project from September 21st, 2022 through September 30th, 2024 for a maximum of $49,760.
Move to approve.
second. Any discussion? Madam Manager, these are grant funded? This is a grant funded project? Mr. Young? Thumbs
Yes.
up on that. Thank you very much. Thank you for getting that grant. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Discussion possible action to approve facility use agreement with South 32 Limited for the 1904 historic courthouse parking lot located in 21 East Court Street, Nogales, Arizona 85621 for an open house event on September 22nd, 2022.
Move to approve.
And second, all those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 8, discussion possible action to approve a proposal contract with Southwest Educational Consulting Associates, Inc., SWECA, for evaluation, technical services, and support services for the adult drug court program from July 15th, 2022 through June 30th, 2023 for a maximum amount up to $12,500.
Move to approve.
And second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 9, discussion possible action to approve professional service agreement with Public Sector Personnel Consultants, Inc. to conduct a full class and I'll read it correctly, a full classification and compensation study for Santa Cruz County in the amount of $77,500.
Move to approve.
Second, Madam Manager.
Yes, sir. You would like some background on this?
Sure.
Okay. I think I'm going to turn that over to Ms.
These come
Jones
up
if you
every
don't
about
mind.
Once every 10 years?
7 to 10, yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Sonia Jones. I'm the HR director for Santa Cruz County. This is a professional services agreement with public sector personnel consultants who have been our consultants for the last 10, 15 years to help us in our compensation and classification throughout the county. So this will be a full all-inclusive study that will include every single position in the county. They will also assist us in revising or creating job descriptions for every single position in the county as well. They're going to do market studies, benchmarking, job analysis, questionnaires, things like that. So this is set to start hopefully in October 1st of 2022, to be completed by April 1st of 2023, not to exceed June 30th of 2023. And this will be all inclusive. Like I said, we will have different steps of the way. We'll have different presentations from our consultants to come in and get buy-in from elected officials, department heads, as well as employees.
And do we specify which communities we want to be compared with, or do?
We do not specify. They will come up with comparisons. But we also do have ultimate say in the end. If we have, let's say, a high, which may be in Oro Valley, and a low that we would like to exclude, we have that discretion.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And, I know every time we do these studies, we kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball because we have to find funds to be able to implement what is recommended to us. And so, hopefully we won't be too far off from everybody else, but I mean, at some point in time, we need to make sure that when we get them, that we try to find the resources to be able to help our employees, reach that higher salary. So the only thing I'm concerned is they're not going to do an April Fool's joke on us, and say
No
we couldn't
way.
do it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, let them know we only want a good report. We don't want a joke report on April 1st.
And just to echo you, Chairman or Supervisor Reese, I think that in the last 5 years, since I've been here with Jennifer's support in county management, also our department heads, I think we've done a really good job in trying to get our employees to where we are at. We've implemented a step and grade plan over the last year. We've given multiple increases to be able to get our employees minimum wage adjustments to assist with inflation as well as minimum wage. So I have no doubt in my mind that we are up there. There will just be some minor positions that we will need to fund. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia.
Madam Manager, when was the last time we did a class and comp?
So I've been here since August of 2000, and we've never done one to this extent because, as Ms. Jones mentioned, we are going to look at every single job description. Before, it's only been benchmark positions. And we're also going to engage the elected officials and the department heads a lot more than we have in the past. But the last class and comp study, which we paid about $12,000 for, we did in October, well, we got the results in October of 15. And as Supervisor Reese mentioned, it took us 3 years to fund that, to get everybody to 100% market value based on the study. We gave 5% raises for 3 years straight in order to get us to 100%.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 10, discussion possible action to approve and adopt proclamation declaring September 26th through September 30th, 2022 as National Gear Up Week, and September 24th through October 2nd is as National Diaper Need Awareness Week. Oh, and C, October 2022 is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I apologize, Mr. Silva.
Move to approve.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 11, discussion possible action to approve professional services agreement with the Arizona State Board of Equalization for hearing officer services for a period of 1 year.
Move to approve.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 12, discussion possible action to approve application for a special event license for the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Cruz County Incorporated for 10/14/22 in Tubac.
Move to approve.
And second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 13, monthly reports. Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, all reports are in.
Yay. Move to approve.
And I will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 14, approval of minutes of 9/6/22.
Move to approve.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 15, demands.
Demands. Mr. Chairman, I will go ahead and move that we pay demands in the amount of $1,055,356.95, of which $401,856.83 are from the general fund.
And I will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Mauricio, you can pay our bills.
And we don't need the executive session, right? Is this for the other issue we talked about the other day? Uh-huh. Okay, well,
Okay.
then we'll go ahead since Andrew's available. Mr. Chairman, I will go ahead and move that we recess our regular session and convene into executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A 3 and 4, discussion and consultation for legal advice and/or direction concerning authority to create and fund personnel and available legal options.
And I will second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are in an executive session.
Go ahead and move that we adjourn our executive session and reconvene regular meeting.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we adjourn.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we stand adjourned.